Bring yourself to your breath. Inhaling through the nose. And exhaling through the nose or the mouth. Just arriving in your body, in your space. Continuing to inhale and exhale through the nose. Beginning to slow it down and also fill up and exhale fully. We have nowhere to go, nowhere to be, just here with the body, with the breath. Continue to relax down into the sit bones. The legs are comfortable and relaxed. Let's rub the palms of the hands together. Bring the hands into the heart space, pressing the palms together. Just feeling the thumbs on the sternum. Continuing to inhale and exhale. We'll just acknowledge ourselves and our space here this evening. We'll be bringing an intention into the mind's eye. Something as simple as connecting with our body this evening. Allowing the mental and the brain, the chatter that happens in the mind to subside. Taking one more inhale. Suspend through the inhale if it feels okay. And exhale, release, hands come to the knees, palms face down. Let's begin inhaling ourselves forward in the divine grind, Sirium, and exhale, arching back. So rotating around the sit bones. Undulating through the vertebrae. Relaxing through the shoulders, through the neck, through the face. Being here with our breath, inhaling forward, exhaling back. Taking one more complete rotation on this side, and then the hands help guide us, reversing directions. Taking one more rotation here and then slowly allowing yourself to come back to stillness in the center. Sitting for a moment. Continuing to breathe, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Taking one more inhale. We'll go ahead and move ourselves over to our knees and our hands. To a cat cow. We'll begin inhaling the belly to drop. We gaze up or keep the eyes closed, gazing at the third eye. Exhale, arching to the sun. Inhale to drop. Taking full inhales and full exhales here in cat-cow. Tipping through the pelvis, shining through the back of the heart. Just moving through the spine here. Let's take 3 more here. And then bringing yourself to a neutral spine. We're going to transition ourselves into a forward fold. So this means we come up into downward dog and walk our hands back to our feet, or step our hands in, and then allow that spine to just drape over the legs. Knees can be bent. And we're breathing long, slow, and deep here. We can grab each elbow within each arm. Breathing into the back body. Taking one more inhale and exhale, and then really bending through the knees. We'll inhale vertebrae by vertebrae to rise, exhaling at the top. Pulling the shoulders over the back. Allowing yourself to gather our breath here. Back to the soft inhale and exhale. So we're going to move through a flow here. And this is the most yoga you'll ever see me offer in these classes. But bear with me, there's a method behind the madness. So we're going to be coming to this wide-legged warrior two. Hands come out to the T. From here, we'll move into the side angle, back, up. We're stretching through the side body here. We will pivot through the feet. We'll bring these hands up through the spine, and then the opposite side. And your breathing will become in a pattern that suits you. Coming up, gathering, and coming up through the spine. Starting again. I'm going to play a song here while we do this, so you can find your movement with your breath during our song. And just make it fun. Move how you feel called to move. Don't make it something that feels uncomfortable. So this shouldn't be uncomfortable. So breathing, we're sure that our knee doesn't go over our ankle here in the front. We'll go ahead and begin when you're ready. Your way with the side angle and the side body stretch. Whatever movement you find. Staying aware in the body, connected to the breath. Tracing this light up through the spine and around the body. Keeping the core engaged, pelvic floor lifts up and in. Very intentional. And to catch on here. Doing that heartfelt, heart-centered connection with your body. Within the space. We're almost there. Visualizing that earth underneath us, connecting deeply with Mother Earth, connecting with the sky and heavens. Let's do one more on each side. And then coming to a standing posture. Go, shaking it out. Inhale into the nose. Exhaling. Go ahead and take an inhale, hands come high. Exhale, forward fold. Let's bend through the knees, help ourselves all the way down to the mat. Coming coming to an easy seat, but having it convenient for you to come down lying eventually. So we're going to take our mind space into a more neutralized scenario here with mantra. Our mantra is going to be Ahem Prema. Ahem Prema. This is that heart-centered focus. I am love. This is Sanskrit. You're welcome to chant along or just listen. So we're coming back to the normal inhale, normal exhale. And chant. Aham, Prema, 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 Aham, Prema. When you feel ready to lie on your back, feel free. Aham, 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 silently vibrating aham. Bring yourself in. Deep inhales and deep exhales. Tucking the shoulder blades underneath the body. Arms relaxed, legs are soft. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Bringing your full and conscious awareness into your body. We're allowing the mental body and the mental chatter to subside. Our awareness is within our body. Feeling in the body any areas of tension. Any resistance. We notice these areas without any judgments, any assignments. We track the location of any tension or resistance in the body. What is the sensation of this negative feeling or tension? Is there a movement, a temperature, a weight? Noticing what the body has to say. Allowing the intuition and the guidance of the body to tell you. How might you allow this discomfort or tension space? Knowing you are safe. Can you allow yourself to feel this resistance even more? This may be a 40-year-old resistance, something that has lived in you for decades. Can you feel more into this and let it wash through your entire being? These are simply old vibrations that once start to feel, you can allow. Feeling it so entirely, can we begin to acknowledge the fear underneath the feeling? your body will show you, and it may not make sense. Just allow. What might be thoughts and your stories around this vibration? Not attaching. What past memories might be brought up? Can you acknowledge these memories and pasts without any judgments? Without trying to avoid or shut down or set aside, let's go through these. Let's feel them fully. And then can your heart accept that this lives within you? Can you allow these feelings into the heart so the heart can purify them? Allowing the deep feeling of unworthiness, all the fear, all the old situations into the heart. Can you find acceptance in all of these negative emotions without needing them gone to feel okay? Allowing the tension and resistance to filter through the heart, to cleanse, to purify. Creating a bridge into your body through your intuition. So it is, and so it is done. Inhaling through the nose. And exhaling. Taking another deep inhale. And exhale. One more inhale. And exhale. Let's rub the palms of the hands together. Let's hug the knees into the chest. Let's rock side to side on the lower back. Bring your full awareness back into the physical world. Let's roll over on our left sides, resting for a moment in the fetal position. Taking one more inhale and exhale. And then inhaling, rolling over a little farther. Your hands come to the floor. They help you back up into an easy seat. Softly opening back through the eyes, bringing yourself back to the space. Grabbing a drink of water if you need, or even bringing yourself to a chair. You're welcome to sit wherever you're comfortable. And we're going to learn about all the things now. So I have a couple of handouts. And we want to work in mental body too hard before we got into the physical body. So now that we've completed and we've experienced, because this work is experiential. When you don't do it yourself and don't collect your own data, how do you know? So this was our data collection portion, and now we can talk a little bit more of the philosophy and what kind of the experience was. So if you guys want to journal, you're more than welcome to journal too right now. If you want to write down some thoughts, just write initially out of the gate here. A little self-reflection, I'll give a few moments for this.
Some questions about what came up.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We'll go through some of this right during your question.
Unless it's an emergency.
Okay.
I'll come over.
So, wanted to start just by acknowledging that all of this healing and all of this vibration frequencies that we're feeling in the body, what we're bridging into is that low density and low frequency vibrations within the body. So whatever this looks like, it's different for everybody, of course. And it's just about bringing awareness to it and being self-aware. And all healing starts with this oscillation and this basis of frequency. So, such as in quantum physics, we have the electrons form an electric field, and then in return they form a magnetic field, and then in return they form an electric field, and then a magnetic field. So it's just ongoing, continual. And we know, and there's research now that's coming out, it's still a little, murky, because it's interesting to mix these metaphysics and a scientific perspective. But we do know we have an auric field, and this is an energy and a frequency and vibration that permeates away from our body. And this is in our body too. I mean, even the atoms and the cells are vibrating constantly, creating new. So this frequency, very subtle, it gets very subtle. So it's something you have to be really aware of and tapped into. And just for another example, our heart beats at 250 hertz. This is that frequency, or like these tuning forks you'll see too. This is the tune or the frequency of vibration. And psychics, transcendentalists, meditation people, whatever that is, they vibrate at a 400 to 800 hertz range. When we're going into mediums and those able to translate data from other dimensions, we're going into an 800 to 900 hertz. And then a true mystic is over 1900 hertz, or 900, sorry, of vibration. So just imagine, like, it's so cool. It's so cool. So all of these theories, I mean, there's tons of theories behind this, of course, right? But some of this is just inexplicable. We'll never be able to explain it. And that's part of the beauty of it, is that we inherently just know, just within our heart, we just know there's something else. So this is kind of part of that bigger picture, and of course, source consciousness too. I mean, we're all connected no matter what. When we were doing our movements, we were mimicking the Merkaba, or the light body, the six-pointed star. This is also in the Jewish tradition, the six-pointed star of David. So we were mimicking the star, and we were connecting heart frequencies to each other in the room, and of course the collective, right? Like, we know that our heart is a magnetic field in and of itself. It has its own nervous system. This is actually really neat research from the Heart Institute. If you look them up, they're just amazing what they're doing with the heart. It has its own biomechanical field around it, which we all know that too. It's just kind of that hidden, like, you can't see it. So this will kind of lead me into these koshas. So this isn't a complete list of koshas. I've kind of added on another kosha. This is the very yogic, very Indian Sanskrit way of looking at it, but it's very similar. I do add in my program, if you will, there's the physical, mental, emotional. So we're missing, I'm splitting up the Maya Mana kosha into mind and emotions. So there's 6 pretty much that I think make more sense in relation to kind of this type of work. So looking at these koshas, the Annamaya kosha, of course, is the physical, it's the very tangible. It's the sheet of matter. It's this gross from the very cellular perspective. And of course, this is sustained by food. So the medicine for our body here is going to be food and diet and drink. As we move around, we come to the Pranamaya kosha. Of course, prana in yoga is life force or breath. And this also means vital air. The chakras are the energetic wheels that kind of run up and down the spine. We relate to 7 of these, but there's many more than 7. These are also located in this pranamaya kosha. This is also the location of the nadis, or the nerve centers, and it supports our mental and psychic activity and personal consciousness. So a lot's kind of lumped in. This is where I spend a majority of my time is in this pranamaya kosha, teaching about it. We want to have all of these in balance, right? One's not greater than the other. These are all something that we need to make us a whole being. And this is where we come from with going into the body like that and bridging in, is to acknowledge the shadow side. We all have these things that we've been running from, and our sympathetic nervous system is just in overdrive, wondering how to get away, or what happens when this happens. Like, it's about balancing all of these systems. So as we move around the Manamaya kosha, and this is of course of the mind, and there's so much going on with our mind. I mean, our mind is the number 1 factor in our suffering. It just is. It's just constant and nonstop. And until we can really hone in the mind and reel it in, not allowing for monkey mind and those projections. And this is one of the systems that shuts down during deep sleep. So this is when we're able to really tap into the subconscious, to wake up with these dreams. This is because we can finally shut it on for a second. And then we'll go around the Vijnanamaya kosha is going to be our sheath of knowledge or wisdom. And of course, this is beyond that sensory perception. This is where our buddhi or our intellect sits, and our sense of self, or our ahamkara. Now, it's within this body when we make that leap from an ego-based, egocentric perspective to a pure consciousness or non-dualistic perspective. Let me recorrect that. Non-dualistic comes in the Anandamaya kosha, which is our bliss body. This is when we're able to just have there's no difference between you and me. We are all images of source consciousness. And sometimes I'll use the word God. Of course, we're not talking about a man. I like to think of God as generator, organizer, destroyer, or whoever your divine God is. And that's within the bliss body. So I kind of skipped a little bit over the knowledge and wisdom body. This is where we detach. And this is the body that can only be worked with when the first 3 bodies, or 4, if you separate emotions out, are stabilized. So when we finally have our diet and our nutrition, when we understand that we can cut cords and create boundaries and have this energy space in ourselves, when we understand that we can meditate and hone in on the mind and not allow it to run the show, when we understand that our emotions are simply energy in motion, things that we should allow, need to allow, so that we can move through, we can tap into that wisdom body. And the bliss body, of course, which is a non-dualistic. In Kundalini Yoga, which is what I teach primarily, this is a meeting of the Shiva and the Shakti within that 10th gate or the 7th chakra in the crown. So of course, this is where enlightenment comes in. And I do want to also bring up the terminology spiritually bypassing. And I'm guilty of it, for sure. I was, and then I noticed, oh, hey, I've been bypassing. I lived so highly in my positive mind, nothing was ever wrong. It was always positive, always, always, always. I wasn't acknowledging my shadow side or my negative mind. So it wasn't until I was able to balance this out to when I was able to fully sit in meditation and understand. So that's just a little personal tidbit. So what happened here was we moved, we got into our body, we lied down, we relaxed, we tapped into our heart space, so we were fully present. within this subtle heart space, there's actually 4 different hearts here. It's so cool. So we have our physical heart, we have the Anahata chakra, or that energy around the heart. We have the Harit, which is another chakra, and this runs our physical heart, and it's above and below the shoulder. So it's like right here. And then we have our divine heart, or our sacred heart, tucked in the very back. And this is discovered often post-awakening. It's very, very subtle. And there's no right or wrong to any of this, right? This is all just information, knowledge that I've attained from all of my teachings. So looking at our other sheet now, I wanted to talk just a little bit more about our emotions, or these levels of vibration where we are on the scale of happiness, if you will. This is out of the, I think it's David Frawley book, Transcending Levels of Consciousness. He also has a Power and Force book that's pretty relevant, and he goes through each of these in complete detail. So reading through each of these chapters was just, mind-blowing for me. Because you're like, oh, you can pinpoint all the people in your life and which little, and of course we fluctuate through all of these, of course. But it's not until we bridge this gap between these lower energies or vibrations, which is very egocentric. So we have shame, guilt, hatred, grief, fear, desire, anger, and pride. These are very low chakra, and we have these all. Everybody has these. It's just acknowledging when you do have them, when they do come up. Are you able to bridge yourself into these feelings to feel the process? And then when you start coming up into the higher triangle, we have courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance, reason, love, unconditional love, joy, peace, enlightenment. And of course, you cannot necessarily, I'm not saying you can't ever, but when you're on one of these rungs, you need to reach for just the next rung to dig yourself up and out. So when I'm working a lot with my clients with depression, we'll find that base rung of where they're at. Okay, well, let's work with the next rung, because we can't skip 2 and 3. We have to go in sequence to help ourselves out of it. So these are all within these higher chakra centers, and this is where we're able to connect with that crown chakra and the third eye, and have these whole different experiences of intuition and source consciousness. Yeah. Okay. I think that was a lot. Are there any questions? Or not, because there's so much though.
It all resonates.